I was born in Chattanooga, Tennessee. It's a small town in Tennessee, kind of close to Nashville and close to Alabama towards the south. Um, I I kind of grew up like in my grandma's house, I guess. My mom I was in and out. Like my dad left I was like 3, I believe, or 4 or 3. And so after that, we would kind of she would try the independent mom thing, but then I'll have to move into with my grandma's house because it might didn't work out. She did a thing though, like, but mostly in my grandma's house. Now looking at it, like when I go visit and stuff, it's quote unquote the hood, I guess. But back then, it's just, a house. You don't know no different, so it's not the hood to me. And then it was actually, it just felt more family oriented. You know what I'm saying? Like outside looking in, people think the hood is all bad, but like when you grow up in it, it's more so like, I know my neighbor got my back, or I know Pookie down the street. Like it's more of a whole family thing than really the hood. I mean, you know what not to do and what to do, but it's not really scary as people kind of paint it. So that was cool. Add that to the fact that I went to a private creative arts school, and so that was great. I wanted to be a dancer. I danced, but back then, dance wasn't like something people thought was a career choice. So I dove into also wanting to be I want to be a producer and director, but at that time it was an actor. Like I really wanted to act, and so that's kind of how that came about too. And it's very complex, but that's kind of how I that's my origin, I guess. And
So you grew up with your grandmother, and you quote unquote say it will be the hood.
yeah.
So growing up in the hood, as you stated, how did it make you feel being around the other youth growing up? Are you going to private school? How did they make you feel isolated? Did they push you out? Did they name call you? How did it affect you by you being in private school
Actually,
public school students?
yeah. Actually, there, like, it wasn't the only kids in the hood. Like before I went to my private school, I went to a school, that everybody did in the hood. So I kind of, I guess for lack of a better term, got clout that way. Like, my friends already knew me, and so then they already knew I was creative or whatever, I guess you say. So when I went to the private school, the creative arts school, it was nothing like, oh, you think you all that. It's just like, finally, you get to go to do something you like, you know what I'm saying? You get to, like, oh, you always been acting like that, so of course you go to that school. It was never, you think you're better than us, because we all grew up together, so to speak. So, yeah, that never really happened. Then at the private school, since it was a creative arts school, people never really thought on the level of color, or at least I never saw that. It was just, oh, he's a dancer, he's a singer, she's an artist. People come to school in their pajamas at my school. It was just that kind of place. You see people with clown hair walking around. It was very open from the school I went to. Like when I went there, I got suggested to the private school from the school I went to. I was in the theater program, and my theater teacher was like, you know what, you would just really be better off at this school. And so you have to audition and all that stuff, but I ended up getting accepted. And so I never really got any racial tension until I moved to Atlanta, actually. I got bullied when I was little, but that was more high school. I was in elementary, so that was more the middle school, high school kids being jerks or whatever. And I used to get the I would go to my cousin's middle school after I got out of the elementary school. She had an after-school program, and I would go over there with her, and I guess they liked her, and so I don't know. And so they would just pick on me. But that was, that was black on black. Like, we was just, that was not racial. But yeah, my racial stuff didn't really happen until Atlanta, really.
So the private and art school was in Chattanooga?
Yeah, Chattanooga.
In Tennessee?
Yeah.
And how old were you when you
Went to Atlanta?
Yes.
I was in the 8th grade. I know that much. Or
You moved there with family?
ninth grade. I was in ninth grade. Yeah. So how that happened was, so my art school, my private school, went from 6th grade to 12th grade. So you just went all the way through in your school. But my mom just saw, because she was a single parent, she just saw that it's easy if you take the wrong routes. And I love Chattanooga. Like Chattanooga is my place. That's my city. I still call it my city to this day. But it's not much opportunity out there, so to speak. I mean, we got a lot of great people that come from there. Usher Raymond, Samuel Jackson. A lot of people come from Chattanooga, Tennessee, but it's easy to get caught up in, or content, say that. It's easy to be content in Chattanooga, and I don't think my mom wanted that. Plus, I think she was going through some stuff, and she just wanted a new start. So she actually moved to Atlanta like 6 months before we did. So me and my sister stayed with my grandma, and she moved to Atlanta, got a job, started working. And the school I went to in Atlanta was actually an art school too. So I had to go there and audition and all that good stuff. But yeah, I had just finished my 9th grade year at my private school. And then that summer, I moved to Atlanta. So I was in 10th grade. So I guess I would say about 15, 16.
So moving to Atlanta was a better move for your mom, but for you, you had started getting conflict with the students or the people in the neighborhood.
As far as in Atlanta?
Yes.
Well, no. So when I moved to Atlanta, one, I didn't want to go. I was scared because, again, it's easy to be content in Chattanooga. It's a small town, so I felt a bigger city would be like bigger crime rates, or I'm gonna be so small in this big city, so I won't have no friends. So I was really not wanting to go. But when I got there, the school I went to was a creative arts school, so they were very inclusive. I mean, like, they loved me, not loved me, but they just accepted me pretty well, and that's when, like, MySpace was popping, too. So, like, I hit people on MySpace before, like, if you add a new school, it tells you the friends that go there, so friends were like, oh, you coming to our school next year? All this good stuff. So that was cool. My race stuff came in with actually the people in Atlanta, as far as maybe kind of the neighborhood. Like, we lived right across the street from my school. And my school's in Sandy Springs. That's what they call that area in Atlanta. And that's the more uppity, I guess, or just more expensive. That's a fact, so I can say that. That's more expensive area in Atlanta. It's right by Buckhead. And so that's like the very, not a lot of people, I mean, a lot of successful people of color or white people live there. And
So what did you discriminate? What would you consider your racial discrimination?
Like,
you said it wasn't at your school.
Yeah, it was just
people itself.
Yeah, living in that area.
Okay, so how did they discriminate against you?
Oh, there was a lot of different things. Like even I guess, like I said, in our neighborhood, we had a community pool, or like we had two of them, one in the front and one towards the back. And it'll be things like the white kids could be out at the pool all night, have like a pool party, all that good stuff. And I'm like, whoa, that's cool. And so then you go out there and try it, and now it's, oh, turn that music down, or, hey, okay, it's getting late, guys. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like, well, they was here last. The only reason I have this idea is because you let them do it. And so now, I mean, at the time, you just get confused. Like, I wasn't like, oh, they're racist. I was just like, well, what's going on? Or you go shopping. Shopping is really, and again, I don't want to just go ahead, like, call these people racist, but you definitely feel, as black people, as a black person, you definitely know when somebody's like got that zone on you or putting that kind of pressure on you. You walk in the store and they start following you, or they start looking at you like, you know what I'm saying, like, what he doing? Or I know he ain't got no money to buy this, so why he in here? Stuff like that. I also worked out there, and so they're very, I think, a safe word is entitled or feel entitled to service, which customer service is great. But you know, there's a difference between expecting a hi, how you doing, can I help you, and then wanting somebody to follow you around and put things in your cart like they work for you. You know what I'm saying? So,
Does that affect you emotionally, if any, during that time?
my immediate answer would be no, but I like to think things through, and I guess the fact that it didn't have an effect on me is an effect. I feel like I kind of just got numb to it. It's just something to expect, like, okay, I know that's how you think, or, you know, I don't necessarily believe you mean harm to me by thinking that, but I think, like I said, just that fact is still kind of like, dang. Like when you actually step back and be like, I have to get used to you treating me this way, but just because of the color of my skin, like you don't know me. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we hung out and you just like, okay, I can treat him this way because of the way he is. So all you have is the color of my skin. But the fact that I have to be numb to it, or I have gotten numb to it, and I don't really think anything of it, or I have to make an excuse for you, like, okay, she doesn't mean to hurt me, or she doesn't mean to come off that way. I think that's kind of messed up, like, because I don't think white people have to do that. You know?
So what advice would you give someone now of at your age that's thinking about moving to Atlanta? Would you tell them that it's a great place? About the social background that could possibly affect them once they move there? What would you tell someone regarding Atlanta as far as racial discrimination?
Atlanta is a great place. One, don't get me wrong, Atlanta is ran by black people. I mean, you have different parts, still Georgia. So you have different parts of Georgia that you're gonna run into some stuff. You got, I mean, they still hold KKK rallies out in like parts of out like Stone Mountain and stuff like that, openly. But I think I would never defer anybody or discourage anybody from moving to Atlanta. I think there's a lot of great opportunities for us out there. You can be comfortable out there, you can. And for the simple fact that no matter where you go, honestly, as a black person, you're gonna get faced with some kind of stuff, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's kind of our reality right now. So necessarily saying don't move to Atlanta because you might get faced with some kind of racism, I don't think no, I would never say that because it's not that bad. Like it's not, I don't fear for my life. I mean, you know, I think it's the normal things like a cop pull you over or a cop get behind you anywhere you at and you black, you go sit up a little straighter or be like, oh my God, what's going on? Or just go around me, don't turn on them lights, you know what I'm saying? But I think that's anywhere from Chattanooga to Atlanta to Chicago to Washington, you know? So I wouldn't necessarily say don't move to Atlanta. I love Atlanta. I hopefully want to build my career in Atlanta, have a house in Atlanta. Yeah, Atlanta is a great place, especially for us because, like I said, black people are empowered. They're more woke people, I guess. I don't like that term because what does that mean? Oh, that gets into a whole bunch of stuff. But for the sake of this interview, there's more woke, aware, nice people out there than other places I've been. So Atlanta is a great place for African American people to go, African American to raise their families. Yeah, it's a good place. So I would never say don't.
Well, for the overall, for the States with everything going on, and as you mentioned, being a black man, you sit up more straight when you have a police officer behind you. How would you describe, as a black man, a young black man, that feeling for you, and just to kind of speak for an overall group of young black men? Are you fearful to go out into the world? Are you afraid to do anything? Does it make you change who you are as a person?
No, I think, and just speaking generally as for black men, black people, period, we learn to adjust. We've had to. We've learned, you know, quote unquote, the unspoken rules of living in America. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be back in the day when we had the green books you were talking about and knowing which routes to take and what house to go to or what gas station to stop at, to knowing how to act when a cop, you know, gets behind you, or when you walking down the street and you see a white person clench her purse a little tighter because you walking on the side of her, you know what I'm saying? Instead of going off and getting mad, it's just like, that's life. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm saying that's definitely not upsetting or sad, but I don't think it affects us. I don't think it stops us, let's say that. I don't think That's something to say, oh, I'm scared to go out in the world because of this. No, like, this is life in America. It's never not been like this. You know what I'm saying? Now, that's a sad point, but it's true. It's never not been like this, and we've been in the world. So, no, it doesn't stop me. It doesn't, in a way, like, just to live my everyday life, it doesn't affect me. You know what I'm saying? It's not that I don't notice it. It's not that I'm like, oh, that's so cool, but we learn to live with it. So I do me. I do my thing. I'm still go out there and grind. I'm still try to get my goals. You know what I'm saying? And that's that. Now I want it to change definitely, and I want to put work into changing. That's why we're here. But it's nothing that's gonna stop me. And I think that's for the most part the mindset of not only black men but black people. Period. We never let that stop us or deter us. If anything, it motivates us to go out there and prove people wrong. Go out there and, you think we're this after all of these years, after all the success we've had, you still think this is us. Watch this. Watch me prove you wrong. Watch my sister prove you wrong. Watch us be kings. Watch us be queens. Stuff like that. So, yeah, no, it's more motivation than really a block.